Hello, gentlemen, and welcome. We're doing a very special deep dive today, really tailored just for you. If you're a man over 60, or maybe you're caring for someone who is, certain health topics, they just become more central, don't they, to daily comfort, well-being. Today, we're looking at something absolutely crucial, often kind of pushed aside, prostate health.
That's right. And we've got some really fascinating insights today, drawing from the work of Dr. Mohit Khera. He's a board-certified urologist, a men's health specialist, with over 30 years in the field.
3 decades, wow. And he really cuts through the noise, shares truths that maybe your regular doctor just doesn't have the time to get into during a quick visit.
Exactly. Our mission today, it's not just about giving you information. We want to share some simple truths that might actually surprise you, like how just holding your urine might be silently aging your prostate, or why the timing of when you drink water could be more important than how much you drink.
Right. And you mentioned a test, something we can do at home.
Yeah, a simple 10-second test you can try, maybe even tonight, that could offer some really crucial insights into your prostate health right now. The goal here is really to help you reclaim your strength, your confidence, and just, your quality of life.
Okay, sounds good. Get ready for some, I think, surprising facts and definitely practical advice you can start using, maybe this week even. All right, let's unpack this. So first up, holding it in. Many of us learned that as kids, didn't we? A badge of honor on long car trips, maybe. But what if that habit, something that seems so harmless, is actually damaging your prostate day after day, especially as we get older?
It's such a common thing, isn't it? But look, for men over 60, the physiological impact, well, it can be pretty significant. When you repeatedly ignore that urge, the bladder walls, they start to weaken. They lose their elasticity.
Okay, elasticity, so they don't spring back as well.
Precisely. And that makes it harder to empty completely, so you end up with residual urine just sitting there.
Residual urine, like leftover.
It's exactly. Leftover, stale, potentially irritating urine. And it can even become a breeding ground for infection. But here's the direct link to the prostate. That overstretched bladder puts constant pressure on the prostate gland, which sits right underneath it.
Ah, I see. So it's physically pressing on it.
Constantly. And that pressure contributes to swelling, to inflammation, worsening all those symptoms we hate. The frequency, the urgency, waking up multiple times a night. It sounds small holding it, but it really sends this cascade of stress through your whole lower urinary system. It can seriously worsen things like BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia.
That phrase, cascade of stress, sounds pretty serious.
Yeah.
But like you said, for so many men, holding it is just habit, almost a point of pride sometimes. We tell ourselves, oh, that's just aging, right? You think of veterans toughing it out, farmers on the tractor all day, dads, granddads just pushing through discomfort. It sort of becomes part of who you are. So how do you even start to unlearn that, especially if you dismiss the early signs as just, getting older?
And that is exactly the danger. Because when you repeatedly ignore the urge, you're essentially training your body to ignore its own signals. Eventually, those signals might just stop coming altogether or become much weaker.
So your body stops telling you.
It can, yes. And this chronic overfilling, it doesn't just stretch the bladder. It can stretch the urethra and even trigger nerve dysfunction. That means the communication, those critical signals between your bladder and your brain, they don't work as well. So your sense of fullness gets impaired and your control over the flow can weaken too.
Wow. So it's not just about being uncomfortable. It's potentially long-term damage to the nerves and function.
Absolutely. That's why it's so critical to honor your body's signals, even when it feels inconvenient. Let's face it, your bladder and prostate, they just aren't as forgiving as they used to be when you were younger. So the practical takeaway here is really simple. When you feel the urge, listen to it. Go. Your bladder and prostate will thank you for it.
Okay, that's a clear message. Listen to your body. Now, let's pivot a bit. We're going into an area that, well, it often sparks curiosity, maybe a little discomfort for some guys, but the science here has some really surprising layers we need to explore. Let's talk about masturbation and prostate health.
Right.
I imagine some listeners might be thinking, hold on, isn't the science clear? Like more ejaculation is generally better for the prostate. What's the nuance we're missing here? It's not just about frequency, is it?
That's an excellent question. And you're right, it gets the real heart of the matter. It's a topic that's often been, let's say, oversimplified. The historical message generally has been masturbation is natural, it's harmless. And, in many ways that holds true. There was that large Harvard study, really fascinating, followed over 31,000 men. And it found that guys who ejaculated more often, the number they cited was over 21 times a month, had a significantly lower risk of developing prostate cancer.
21 times.
Okay.
So there's a benefit.
There seems to be. The science suggests that regular ejaculation helps flush out old prostate fluid, reduces congestion, lowers inflammation.
Yeah.
Think of it like a gentle internal cleansing, keeping things moving.
Okay, cleansing. Makes sense.
But, and this is the crucial nuance, the part that often gets missed, it's not just about how often, it's also about why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and crucially, how you feel afterward.
Ah, the feeling afterward. Tell me more about that.
Well, I've worked with men who masturbate regularly, even daily, and they feel great afterward, energetic, relaxed, balanced. But I've also seen men, sometimes with the same frequency, who feel the opposite. Depleted, sore, anxious, maybe even a bit ashamed.
So same frequency, different outcome emotionally and physically. Why?
Yeah. It often comes down to the driver. When masturbation becomes compulsive, maybe driven by boredom, loneliness, or primarily as a stress release rather than genuine desire, that's when it can start to take a toll. This kind of pattern can actually cause pelvic tension. It can irritate the nerves around the prostate, potentially disrupt your natural hormonal rhythm, and in some cases it might contribute to issues like erectile dysfunction or symptoms of chronic prostatitis. And of course, it can significantly impact your emotional well-being too.
Right. And the body changes with age, doesn't it? What felt okay in your 30s or 40s might hit differently in your 60s. Tissues are maybe more sensitive, nerves less forgiving. Recovery time might be longer, especially if testosterone levels are lower.
Exactly. That's a key point. So, if I'm understanding correctly, it's less about the act itself and more about our mindful relationship with the act.
That's a great way to put it. It really urges self-awareness. Ask yourself honestly, do I feel energized afterward, or do I feel drained? Is this bringing me a sense of peace, or is it just filling time, maybe even adding stress?
Mhm.
Those questions really matter. If you're experiencing things like pain, fatigue, or those emotional lows afterward, maybe consider just taking a short break. A week, 2 weeks. See how your body responds when you reset that relationship. It's about intention, not just going on autopilot.
Intention, not autopilot. I like that.
Okay, so we've touched on internal signals, like the urge to urinate, and deeply personal habits. But sometimes, the simplest changes in our daily routines have the biggest impact, and often, they're the ones we misunderstand the most. Let's talk about something fundamental, your daily water intake.
Oh, absolutely. It's true. So many men come into my office and they're frustrated, especially with waking up at night to use the bathroom. They say, "Doc, I'm drinking more water," just like they say, but the nighttime urgency is still there, or even worse.
Yeah, I've heard that. Drink more water. It's like the standard advice for everything.
Right. But the truth is, it's not just about drinking more water. It's often about drinking water the right way. I remember a patient, John, 68, retired teacher, nice guy, drank maybe 10 glasses of water a day, very diligent, but he drank most of it in the afternoon and evening.
Loading up later in the day.
Exactly. And he was paying the price every single night, waking up constantly. John didn't need a pill, he just needed a different hydration strategy.
So why does the timing matter so much more as we age?
Well, several things happen. Our bodies just become more sensitive to fluid balance overall. Our kidneys, they don't filter quite as efficiently as they used to. Our bladders, like we discussed, don't stretch and contract quite as effectively. And of course, the prostate itself tends to grow, potentially pressing on the urethra.
So the whole system is just a bit less resilient to big fluid shifts.
That's a good way to think about it. So if you overload your system with water, especially in the second half of the day, it just inevitably creates that urgency and leads to interrupted sleep. So the key strategy is this. Spread your water intake throughout the day. Small, steady amounts. Start with a glass, maybe within 30 minutes of waking up. Then sip steadily, maybe every hour or so. And then, crucially, start tapering off by early evening.
Tapering off.
Yeah.
Like stop drinking large amounts after a certain time.
Yeah, I usually recommend stopping any major fluid intake by around 7 p.m. Now, this doesn't mean you go thirsty in the evening. If you need a sip, have a sip. But avoid chugging water or having big drinks late. You're basically giving your bladder a chance to process and settle down before you go to bed.
Makes sense. Any other benefits to that steady daytime hydration?
Yes, absolutely. Consistent daytime hydration leads to lighter colored, less concentrated urine. And less concentrated urine is less irritating to the bladder lining and the prostate itself. Reducing that irritation can actually help reduce inflammation, which, as we know, can worsen those urinary symptoms.
So drinking right helps calm things down internally too. Good tip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've seen how conscious hydration helps. And that idea of small intentional habits, it leads perfectly into our next practice. This one takes maybe just 10 minutes, no equipment needed, and studies suggest it can significantly reduce those nagging prostate symptoms.
That's right. We're talking about walking. Specifically, walking after meals is probably one of the most overlooked low-effort habits, but the results for prostate health can be really powerful.
Walking after meals seems simple enough.
It is. I recall a patient, Frank, 72 years old. He was dealing with urgency, waking up frequently at night, his typical routine after dinner, straight to the recliner, turn on the TV.
Sounds familiar for a lot of guys.
Absolutely. So my prescription for him wasn't a medication, it was a practice. A simple 10 to 15-minute walk after lunch and again after dinner. Just 3 weeks later, Frank came back reporting he was sleeping much better, felt lighter, and that constant sense of urgency had significantly reduced.
Wow, just from a short walk. That's pretty remarkable. What's actually happening in the body during those 10-15 minutes that makes such a difference for the prostate?
Well, there are several benefits working together. First, it improves circulation, especially to the pelvic area. Better blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients get delivered to the prostate and the surrounding tissues, which helps reduce inflammation.
Okay, circulation, that makes sense.
What else? Second, it helps regulate blood sugar. This is really crucial because research shows men with high blood sugar or insulin resistance have a much higher risk of developing prostate enlargement, BPH. Walking helps your muscles soak up glucose from your bloodstream more efficiently, reducing those big insulin spikes after meals.
Ah, so it helps with blood sugar too. Interesting
Mhm.
link.
Definitely. Third, it aids digestion. A gentle walk helps move things along, reducing bloating and that uncomfortable abdominal pressure that can sometimes push against the bladder and prostate, adding to the discomfort.
Right, feeling less bloated probably helps everything feel better down there.
Exactly. And finally, there's a psychological benefit. Many men find that incorporating this simple habit provides a powerful sense of empowerment. They feel like they're taking active control of their health, which is huge.
I can see that. So it's not about running a marathon after dinner.
Not at all.
Yeah.
The key here is consistency, not intensity. Even just 5 minutes is better than sitting stagnant. Try tying it to your meals, lunch, dinner to make it a regular habit. And hey, if the weather's bad, just walk around inside your house for 10 minutes. Every little bit helps.
Good advice. Consistency over intensity. Now, we've covered hydration, movement, both really impactful. But there's one area, let's be honest, that many men find the hardest to change. And that's what's sitting right there on your plate. Diet.
You're right, it can be challenging. But this is also an area where the impact is incredibly direct. It's measurable on prostate health. It can be quite emotional, actually. I remember Harold, 66, telling me almost tearfully, "Doc, I feel like I did everything else right, but nobody ever told me that the food I was eating every day might be the reason I'm dealing with this inflamed, enlarged prostate."
Wow. That's powerful. Like he felt let down by the information he had.
Precisely. His story really highlights a fundamental truth. Every single bite you take is either working for you, reducing inflammation, supporting healing, or it's potentially working against you, silently fueling the fire of your symptom.
Okay, so let's get practical. If we want our food to work for us, what should we be consciously adding to our diet?
Great question. Let's focus on nutrients known to actively protect the prostate. First up, lycopene. That's the pigment that gives red fruits their color. Think tomatoes, especially cooked tomatoes, like in sauce or paste watermelon, pink grapefruit, guava. Studies show lycopene helps reduce oxidative stress in the prostate and might lower the risk of prostate cancer by as much as 28% in some studies.
28%, that's significant. Okay, lycopene from red fruits, what else?
Next, cruciferous vegetables. This is your broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, kale. These veggies contain powerful compounds, notably one called sulforaphane. Think of sulforaphane as tiny cellular cleansers. They support your body's natural detoxification systems and help eliminate harmful hormones that can aggravate the prostate.
Cellular cleansers, I like that visual. Broccoli, cauliflower, got it. Anything else key to add?
Yes, zinc. Zinc is incredibly important for prostate health. It plays a key role in the structural integrity of the prostate gland itself. It also helps balance testosterone and its more potent form, dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. DHT is a major driver of prostate growth. Good sources of zinc include pumpkin seeds, oysters if you like them, nuts like cashews, and legumes.
Okay, lycopene, cruciferous veggies, zinc. That's a clear list of things to lean into. Now, the flip side, what should we be consciously trying to reduce or even avoid?
Right, the avoid list. First, processed meats. Things like sausages, deli ham, bacon, hot dogs. They're often loaded with preservatives, sodium, and unhealthy inflammatory fats.
Okay, less processed meat. What's next?
High sugar foods and refined carbohydrates. This includes obvious culprits like soda, candy, baked goods, but also many breakfast cereals, white bread, white pasta. These foods spike your blood sugar and insulin, contributing to insulin resistance and systemic inflammation, which isn't good for the prostate.
So watch the sugar and the white stuff. Is dairy an issue?
For some men, yes. Excessive dairy, particularly whole milk and cheese, can potentially increase estrogen levels and slow down the body's ability to clear hormones efficiently. This might contribute to prostate issues in susceptible individuals. It's worth being mindful of your intake.
Okay, so processed meats, high sugar, maybe excessive dairy. It sounds like a lot to change potentially.
It can feel overwhelming, I understand, but you don't have to overhaul everything overnight. The key is to start small, sustainable changes. Maybe swap one processed snack for a handful of nuts or pumpkin seeds. Try adding broccoli or cauliflower to your dinner a few times a week. Blend some watermelon into a smoothie. Remember that idea? Food is information for your cells. When you start shifting what's on your plate, even slightly, you start shifting the signals your body sends to your prostate. It's about progress, not perfection.
Progress, not perfection. Good mantra. Okay, so we've explored how food can inflame or heal. Now let's talk about something that's arguably even more powerful for healing, yet it's often completely ignored or at least undervalued. It happens while you're asleep. Or, perhaps more accurately, it should be happening while you're asleep.
That's so true. We tend to think of sleep as just passive downtime, switching off. But it's actually one of the most active and powerful healing processes your body undertakes. I remember Ray, 70 years old, a former long-haul truck driver. His sleep was terrible for years, just fragmented and poor quality. And it directly correlated with his worsening prostate symptoms, frequency, urgency, weak stream. He felt like he aged 10 years overnight, every night.
That sounds exhausting.
It was debilitating for him. But once we focused on restoring his sleep quality, not necessarily just duration, but deep restorative sleep, his entire quality of life began to shift. His urinary symptoms improved significantly. You see, during deep sleep, your body releases crucial healing hormones. Melatonin, often called the sleep hormone, is also a potent anti-inflammatory. Growth hormone is released, essential for tissue repair. And testosterone levels actually peak during the night, which is important for overall male health, including the prostate.
So if sleep is shallow or constantly interrupted, like with frequent bathroom trips?
Exactly. You disrupt the release of all those vital healing hormones. This leads to increased inflammation, potential swelling in the prostate, and often poor urinary control because the nervous system isn't getting that deep rest either.
And what about stress hormones? Does poor sleep affect those?
Absolutely. Poor sleep significantly increases cortisol, your main stress hormone. Chronically elevated cortisol promotes inflammation throughout the body, including the prostate. It can also suppress testosterone production and keep your nervous system in a state of tension or fight or flight, which definitely contributes to weaker flow and that feeling of urgency.
Wow. There's even a cancer link, isn't there?
Sadly, yes. Research suggests that chronic sleep deprivation may increase the risk for developing more aggressive forms of prostate cancer. It underscores just how fundamental sleep is.
Okay, so the message is clear. Prioritize sleep. What are some practical steps men can take?
Make your bedroom a sleep sanctuary. Keep it cool, quiet, and dark. Really dark. Blackout curtains can help. Avoid screens, TVs, computers, smartphones for at least an hour before bed. The blue light they emit messes with your melatonin production. Establish a wind-down routine. This could be some gentle stretching, deep breathing exercises, meditation, reading a physical book, something calming. Try to shift late meals earlier in the evening. And definitely avoid alcohol and caffeine, probably from mid-afternoon onwards, as they can significantly disrupt sleep architecture. Rest isn't a luxury. It's not optional. It's absolutely essential maintenance for your prostate and your overall health. It allows your body to do its vital repair work.
Essential maintenance. That's a good way to think about it. All right, we've covered a lot of ground movement: nutrition, hydration, sleep, even personal habits. Now, it's time for that final piece you mentioned earlier. A simple, powerful tool. A test, you said. Takes just 10 seconds. Something that can tell you if your prostate might be under stress, even if you feel mostly okay.
That's the one. Look, many men over 60, maybe even over 50, have prostates that are under some degree of stress, but they don't realize it. They might chalk up minor symptoms, maybe getting up once at night, maybe the stream isn't quite what it used to be to just getting older or drinking too much coffee.
Right. Easy to dismiss those subtle changes.
Very easy. I remember Leonard, 75, Very proud, independent guy, came in saying he felt mostly fine, just a few minor things. But this simple test we're about to describe revealed some underlying issues that really changed the direction of his care and ultimately improved things for him significantly. It's quick, it's free, you do it at home, and it can be surprisingly revealing.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How does this at-home prostate stress test work?
It's very straightforward. Here are the steps. 1, start with an empty bladder, make sure you've just urinated. 2, drink a full glass of water, let's say about 8 to 10 ounces. Not slowly, just drink it down normally. 3, set a timer or just note the time. 4, now pay attention. First, note how long it takes before you feel a strong, undeniable urge to urinate.
Okay, timing the urge. What's considered normal or concerning there?
Well, if that strong urge hits you really quickly, say in less than 10 or 15 minutes, that might indicate an overly sensitive bladder, potentially due to irritation or pressure from the prostate. Now, step 5 is crucial. When you do go to urinate, time how long it actually takes you to empty your bladder.
Timing the stream itself. What are we looking for there?
You're looking for red flags. Does it take you more than, say, a minute or two to feel empty? Do you feel like there's still urine left afterward? Do you have to strain or push to get it started or keep it going? Does the stream start and stop? Those are all potential signs that something is obstructing the flow, often an enlarged or stressed prostate.
So timing the urge and timing the emptying, why is this simple exercise so powerful?
Because it bypasses complex numbers or lab results for a moment. It's really about learning to listen to your own body's signals in a structured way. A healthy urinary system, even in men over 60, should generally allow for a reasonable period of controlled bladder filling, followed by a strong, steady stream, and a feeling of complete emptying without significant effort or delay.
It's like a functional checkup you do yourself.
Exactly. It helps identify potential issues like inefficient emptying, which could lead to urinary retention, chronic inflammation, or even increase the risk of bladder or kidney infections, maybe, before they become really serious problems. Remember Leonard? His results on this simple test were definitely off, which prompted further investigation. But armed with that knowledge, we created a new plan, and his symptoms improved dramatically.
That's great. So the advice is give the test a try.
Yes. Give it a try. Maybe do it a couple of times on different days. If your results seem off a very quick urge or slow, difficult emptying, don't panic. Please don't panic. The goal here isn't to scare anyone. It's purely to empower you with knowledge about your own body so you can have more informed conversations with your doctor if needed.
Knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
So wrapping all this up,
Yeah.
what's the big takeaway? What does all this mean for the men listening today?
I think the biggest message is this. You genuinely have more control over your prostate health than you might think.
It's not just something that happens to you.
Exactly. Your prostate health isn't completely out of your hands. You don't have to just accept poor sleep or constant urgency or live with that quiet background fear that something might be wrong. These small changes we've discussed, they truly matter. The men who make these shifts, who stop habitually holding their urine, who approach masturbation with intention and self-awareness, who hydrate smartly, walk daily, eat with awareness, protect their sleep, and just stay tuned in to their body's signals. These are the men who often reclaim their sense of freedom, their energy, their confidence, and their overall quality of life.
That's incredibly hopeful. And you've already taken a big first step just by tuning in and listening today. Now, maybe think about taking the next small step. Your prostate, your sleep, your energy levels, your sense of manhood, they are absolutely worth protecting. And please know, you're not alone on this path. We're here, trying to help you navigate it.
Well said.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. If you found this information valuable, if it sparked some ideas, please do consider liking this, sharing it with others who might benefit, and subscribing to the channel. That helps us continue bringing you these vital tips to protect your health. We really appreciate your support, and we look forward to our next deep dive together.
Thank you.
And just one final thought to leave you with. Consider this. What's just one small habit, one tiny shift you heard about today that you could maybe implement starting now? Something that could potentially dramatically change your tomorrow. Think about it.